Good morning, Congress.
Still said one he wasn't supposed to say.
He did point, though. He did point.
Yeah. He's learning.
Welcome to Way's World. So good morning, everybody. Phone lines are open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. It is Free Flow Friday. DJ will be joining us momentarily. And so good morning.
Does he have to?
Yeah, well, yeah, he is obligated.
Jeez.
Yeah, contractually obligated. So I'm really glad that the good folks came in from Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce yesterday. Really saved me because we were going in the direction, and Debo was asking me questions, and I'm going like, dude, I got to go to church Sunday, right? So anyway, we're all good. Understand. Speaking of what we were speaking of yesterday, that they have Sean Combs currently on suicide watch. Which would not be surprising. Especially after Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
It would not be surprising.
That's certainly like you've hit rock bottom, and it becomes apparent to you that you've hit rock bottom.
It gotta be, man. I mean, it's like, and it's the cumulative effect of things.
Mm-hmm.
We get away with it, mm-hmm. and then the whole other piece of it that. What psychological needs were being met
mm-hmm.
by a lot of it. So it's a lot to untangle. Again, yesterday when I said I believe that people, as adults, you make your own decisions. It's not
I was told, or I heard, shall I say, that was also one of the reasons that they did not give bail.
Yeah,
it was because they did not want him to go somewhere and do himself in.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. You hear lawyers who are, the pundits come in and they
mm-hmm.
comment and just talk about the legality of the case. It was something Michelle said, and a lot of other people said, when the feds come for you, they got a pretty strong case.
When they come,
it's rare that people beat the feds. I'm sure it happens.
Oh yeah,
but by that time they have stacked all up.
Typically, they have crossed all their T's, dotted all their I's. Yep. And what they have, and trust me, they will investigate years. There's no timeline for them.
They have unlimited resources.
They ain't in a hurry.
Right. I mean, they can. Now, the one thing is he's well resourced. So, like OJ, he'll be able to put together a great defense team. But it's tough. It's going to be tough.
Yeah,
for
but
him.
What does life look like after? Even if you beat it, I mean, you have exhausted a lot
of goodwill.
Yeah, and money.
Yeah.
So, Alibaba.
Do that before you get on the air.
No, he wants to wait till he.
Oh, okay.
That way he's on camera.
Got a call.
Say we do. DJ calling, you said?
No, DJ here. Oh man, tear up the place, tearing up the equipment. Come on, man. We need
you gotta
this.
Let it down, son.
Yeah, we need this. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I believe all the drugs he's on.
So Lise, you going in and out. Is there something going on with your phone?
Take us off speaker. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
I said all those drugs that he was on, and using that has a part of suicide too.
Yep.
Because it really just like the body has a mind, because it's not being able to do what he does, and then it causes you to act out in different ways. I'm not trying to give him an excuse because all of it, but we know right from wrong. But the drugs was enhanced by him not being able to get those drugs or whatever. So, all right, talk to you later.
Thanks, Elise. I wonder, man, why wasn't he sent to some country club? He got the money.
Well, he hasn't been convicted yet.
Well, but I mean, still, they didn't have to put him in the worst of the worst. I mean, this place, they're considering closing it so bad.
Yeah, but I think, hey, man, it's. I can give you a name of a person here who went down to Metro lockup back in the day down in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Freeman. Yeah, I remember he got down. I mean, it's now compared to state prisons, federal prisons a little bit better.
That's supposed to be country club.
Yeah, but it's still prison. And based on what he's charged with, he wouldn't get the same. I think they sent Gary George to Duluth, but that was like white collar crime. They got a RICO on him, man. He's gonna be doing some hard time because when they drop RICO, that's what they use for the mafia. That's what they use for drug cartel. Yeah, that racketeering act. So, yeah, I mean, just legally, where he is, he's in a tough situation. And
the witness tampering, they don't play with that either.
And that's another reason why they because see, they can monitor his phone calls.
100 and something times he called one witness.
Yeah. I mean, he's in trouble. I mean, he showed up to be arrested. He knew what the deal was, so yeah, it's gonna be. And what people are focusing on is, of course, I used that word yesterday, the salacious details, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that word I used yesterday, voyeurism. We kind of look at other people and go like, oh man, I would never do that. You ain't got the money to do that. You don't have access to things. Who knows what you're going to do if you have the money.
Funny though, Keith, and I'm not going to say funny. I just found it interesting. Is the word I'll use there. Thought provoking, if you will. You and the Reverend Rhodes both really, in my opinion, were trying to give Jakes an umbrella to hide up under.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Is
Mike? We gotta do Mike policy.
Oh, ain't no Mike policy. Stop playing. He at the end of the day, you're a bishop, and you know that you are under certain scrutiny if you are indulging in certain activities, if you are seen in certain places with a list of characters. It's been many times where, I mean, I would say clergy is held to a high standard, and politicians are held to a lower standard than clergy as far as societal expectations. So it's been many times where politicians have been in places and have taken pictures with individuals where they were brought under immense scrutiny, and they're in a business where we consistently talk about how dirty it is. So
politics you're referring
to. So TD Jakes being there with whom, doing what?
We didn't get into the what,
but all of that stuff came about, whether it was speculation or not, when that came out with him and Diddy. So he don't like we say, no passes.
So you're not giving the pass. No. And again, the two reverends that I spoke to on yesterday were trying to give him somewhat of an umbrella, saying he was witnessing. He was there witnessing.
No,
I think they were being funny. It would be funny if he was witnessing.
He was watching. He likes to watch. Yeah, he likes to watch. I mean, no, I'm not. I think that my issue.
So money running with money. That's all we talk about.
I think money running with money. And who knows? It could have been he liked what he saw going on there. You put yourself in a tough situation. I mean, the pictures that it's hard to get me in a picture. It's hard to get me in a picture. People try to get me take pictures. I don't take pictures, especially if you're at different events. I don't take pictures. Even taking, I can take a picture with a politician, right? And next thing you know, they're a disgrace. Not that,
right.
So I just say it as general.
Not that has happened before.
Yeah, it has happened.
Right.
Oh man, one of the crazy ones was, again, this perch that I get to sit on. There's a guy who came in. He was running for judge and ultimately won. Did you sit in the interviews with him?
Yeah.
And then come to find out, he catches a federal case, for possession of child pornography. You can't look at people and tell. What the situation is, or
I was heated.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
You advocated for this guy?
No, I didn't advocate. I just took a picture with him.
Yeah,
and I was
decent dude, though. I mean, on the surface, really decent.
Did they use the picture in the paper? Did they put y'all picture?
On the website.
You on the web? You were on the website?
Yeah, you too.
What?
You too.
And I was
You?
against it. I was against taking pictures, but then they was like, "Come on, it's just to promote." You know, at that time it was election.
You were a pretty young
time.
man at that time, weren't you?
I think that was about 4 years ago.
About 4 years ago. Yeah.
Pretty young man.
Yeah, we had wow. So you don't know. Like I said, I think with and not that I was given the pass, and I just so that we're clear. Again, I started off saying it. I will repeat it. This is a disclaimer that people privately can do whatever they want to do. I think what I need not to do, which is hard for me, is not put myself in a situation where I'm being judgmental. The other piece of it, because it is in the legal system, is that you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. And I know that's a theory. That's because in reality, it was me and Rhonda was looking. They posted this one dude's picture, you know, and we looked at each other. Oh, he did it. He did it. I mean, but we're not on the jury,
Right.
so you know he'll have his day in the court of law. But you pointed out something else is going to hurt his brand. I mean, it's just going to hurt his brand. I mean, if it's not already. And where is Russell Simmons?
Well, somewhere where he cannot be extradited.
Where is Russell Simmons?
Yeah, he been out of Dodge.
Yeah, I mean that.
So obviously I came in tardy. He was in some of those documents.
Who?
TD Jakes.
No.
This
happened earlier in the summer.
Oh yeah.
That they had pictures out there.
Oh, that's old.
Yeah, it's old, but
we just speaking to.
It's going to come back up again.
Yeah,
you know,
you may hear it in court.
Right.
You never know because it ain't over. He's probably gonna flip on some other people.
Would you?
I ain't got nothing to lose.
That's Nino Brown. I'm going down. I'm taking everybody with me.
I wasn't the brains of the outfit. TD Jakes was.
TD Jakes.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I never liked this preacher behind anyway.
Right.
You know, but no, it's.
But you know, I remember when I
on this morning.
When I first came to know who TD Jakes was, I used to see him on CNN. What was that?
CBN.
CBN.
No. Trinity.
He was just a poor little old country boy. Ain't had no money, man. His clothes looked funny compared to theirs and stuff. He ascended. That's what you call ascending. But to watch him when he first started, the sincerity, I just thought he was sincere at that point in time.
Oh, you know.
But then for us to get to this point,
go to YouTube.
And he had at Biggie's parties. I got a problem with.
Go to YouTube and pull up Azusa. He preached at Azusa. It was Carlton Pearson who gave him his national platform, and that's what's real interesting. I got to get a different word. That was what's so jacked up about when Carlton Pearson went through what he went through, because the people that Carlton Pearson basically, not say made, but presented to the world, everybody turned their back on over a theological question. And here's the issue I had. You know, at one point, Eddie Long was part, you know, him and TD Jakes were friends. And this is,
I want you to listen to the names you're putting out there.
Right. And my question became, Eddie Long, even though the young men that he had relations with were at the age of consent for the state of Georgia, he had been grooming them since they were young teenagers. And then he took advantage of it. And those kids traveled with him. You think all those preachers in that circle didn't see that? But sometimes people had their own thing going on. So I ain't going to throw no stones. Right. And so I think there's a lot of that. I think also when you get to a certain level, and DJ kind of pointed this out, depending on where you are, the local folks are kind of, oh, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be doing that. Your gifts will make room for you in high places. And that's not always in religious circles. I appreciate where TD Jakes, because TD Jakes will tell you that he's more than a pastor. He's a business person, right? And so he has all these business, his movie production. I mean, he does all those things. Now, he said that he was at those parties because that's where, you know, the Hollywood folks that he needs to do business with. I guess the only question was, did you go to more than one party? And was this going on at the parties that you were going to? Now that's going to be between him and the Potter's house.
Let me ask you this, Keith. Both of you gentlemen. I'm TD Jakes.
Mhm.
I call anywhere in the world and I say, hey, I'd like to speak with Keith Parris. This is TD Jakes. Sure, it is TD Jakes. I'm probably not even the one making the call. I got somebody who done put all of this in place. So anybody he needed to reach out to, you telling me he couldn't get to him? They have agents and representatives and handlers.
I appreciate
for that same purpose.
I appreciate that. I mean,
but there's
that's
also
a fair point.
But there's also a time where you got to have a face-to-face.
And it don't have to be at Diddy's party.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And I don't know how much business was actually going on.
We were speaking yesterday, DJ, the passage of scripture that speaks to don't let your good be evil spoken of.
Right.
Now I get there's one that says go into the highways and the byways.
Yeah.
I get that, but that.
But here's the issue. Part of the issue, I think. We're talking about the situation with Diddy and his parties, but clergy have found themselves in other spaces,
like the White House. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, and not to cast an aspersion,
But that's
but that picture caused a whole lot of headaches for that particular bishop, right? And so, you can put yourself, and this is why I say, not to hear anything from me, but when clergy involve themselves in partisan politics, for example, there's the upside of it. Obviously, there's some interest that you see that you think should be addressed. But the other problem with this is that regardless of party, it is transactional, right? I mean, if I do a favor for you, at some point, you're going to do a favor for me, which gets us now to TD Jakes, 2005, August, Katrina, where he should have been critical, should have been pushing back. Oprah and others were pushing back on George Bush's awful response to Katrina. He was in the picture and he said nothing. And we don't know if he said anything privately, right? So that's what I'm talking about in terms of we have to be careful of who we accept.
Maybe he got some of that No Child Left Behind money.
It goes back.
I never was a fan of TD Jakes.
And I'm not criticizing TD Jakes.
No,
we're just having this conversation because he's been part of this discussion.
Right.
But the land that he's on, where the Potter's house is, George W. Bush was instrumental in him getting the land when he was governor of Texas. So he has that relationship.
But
and
he's had some questionable actions and just circumstances around him anyway that just raised a lot of eyebrows. And again, no one is the exception to that rule. Everybody
how
is
much of
going to
that
have
is because he's high profile, because we know who he is.
It don't matter. I'm just speaking on questionable dealings and questionable circumstances. And now his profile leads it to where myself and you and others have heard about it, and I've never met him. I don't know if y'all have, but people that could know a little bit about your business that you don't even know them. He's that high of a profile, but I've never viewed him as an instrumental part as far as Christianity or anything of that nature.
Man,
that man has had and is having an enormous impact.
Does he have a enormous platform?
Yes.
Yeah, but if you gave that to Joe Blow, it would be the same thing.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
Because I'm saying this is why I disagree.
Your platform is what
gifts,
uplifts you.
Yeah, but it's your gifts.
He's talented.
Man, there's no question. He's one of the greatest preachers ever. I mean, there is, to the point that Farrakhan said, because Farrakhan is a preacher. Farrakhan said, do you know if you and I got together, the impact we could have on this world? Game recognized game.
Right. But
you get into other issues, like you say, questionable business.
You could be good at something, but as far as, like, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying that as far as for me, being instrumental in Christianity, and I would just say my personal faith, right? He was never he was
He
never
wouldn't.
that. And I've seen some of his preachings.
No, I'm just saying in terms of, but if you look at I'm trying to think when it comes down, I'm gonna put, if I could do my Mount Rushmore, in terms of preachers, TD Jakes goes on Mount Rushmore as a preacher.
I mean, if he didn't have any talent, we wouldn't even be talking about him.
Yeah, and if he didn't pastor one of the biggest churches in America, if he didn't
Platform.
have, and so what I'm saying is that the difference is that people you see, and I always say, and the greatest sin is exposure, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. If it's Keith Parris, who cares?
Not really if you have that particular platform, but we got a caller.
Yeah, we'll take the caller and then we got to go to break.
Mm-hmm. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning. One thing I wanted to say, when it comes to TD Jakes or anybody, one thing Black people fail to realize, no matter who you are, you're human. There's nothing that says in any world or any book, you got to have a clean cough. And let's keep it 100 before, for some people who got saved, because I'm not saved. There's been many times when people came home at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, smelling like an empty half-pint bottle set and that. And you got up the next day and went about your day. So at the end of the day, if you put anybody on a pedestal, put yourself on a pedestal. Because when the lights go out, you are still human, whether you're standing at the pulpit or you in somebody else's bed. Because remember, when that Bible closed, somebody's legs are always open, and you still gonna walk this earth with your head held high. So let's get off this stuff of, people got to be looked at a certain way, because at the end of the day, you're still human. Have a great day.
When
the Bible closed, legs
somebody's
still open.
Boy, that Al is something else.
But you know what? He ain't wrong.
He ain't lied yet.
He ain't wrong.
He kind of wrong.
Why would you say that?
Why would you say that?
Because when you are in certain positions,
no, that's not what we were talking about the Bible being
no,
closed.
I'm talking about what I was talking about. Y'all,
that's what he just said.
No, but he's saying like putting people on certain pedestals.
We do.
And no, but how I took it was that, when you are of a certain position, you shouldn't look at them and say
as
like,
God.
oh, well, I don't look at nobody as God.
No, but I'm saying, there are people.
But I'm saying like just someone who should be conducting themselves in a manner that wouldn't
here's
holistically
right
disrespect
this
whatever origin that is.
This would be more of a it would encompass all of what I think we're all trying to say.
Dignity.
When you're of that stature, you're supposed to be above reproach.
Ooh,
no,
ooh.
No,
oh, yeah.
that's
hard. That's hard.
Not,
that's
no.
hard.
You're supposed to be above reproach, man. And that's why you don't allow yourself to be at Diddy's parties and different ones of that nature. You got an image, a brand, if you will,
right?
And you got to have some kind of a conscience,
right?
Your conscience, your Christian faith, your walk with Christ didn't tell you don't go to this party. I just don't buy that. I don't know. Let's do a break and we'll come back.
Yeah.
Can we go to break, Keith? Mike policy.
You're listening to Community Voice. It's Free Flow. It is Free Flow Friday. Joined in the studio by Devon Jones, DJ the Protege.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Debo. And of course, Harvey.
That's Harvey, man.
That's Harvey. JT. We'll be right back. All right. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. The phone line's open for. We'll finish this up and then we'll get to the prospective. But it's not prospective; it's perspective, right? But no, I think when you were saying being above reproach, and I think it was something, I don't know who said this. One of the callers who said, in effect, and I'm paraphrasing now, if perfection was a prerequisite for Christian ministry, there'd be nobody in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's real talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so you work through, but when people saying, well, when you get into one of my songs I love by Jay-Z, and there's a line in the song that says, thank God for giving me this moment of clarity.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes you can get caught up in the thing, the emotions, everything that's going on. You suspend good judgment, and then you find yourself now, like you said, you hit bottom, and you go like, damn, what happened? But it had been happening. And there were all these things that were going along, and it becomes cumulative. They're not talking about something Diddy did like just 6 months ago.
Right.
They're going back almost,
Years.
10 years.
Yeah.
So, or R. Kelly. R. Kelly's
Let
another.
me ask you a question, gentlemen. If same said individual, Diddy, rented out a ballroom and had a party there, I'm okay with that, because that's when these parties are taking place in his home, where the allegations and the different things that are taking place. That's.
But I think people also go there with an expectation that their privacy is going to be guarded.
Mm-hmm.
It's when it gets out, because they hadn't been talking about it until here recently. They've been having these parties for years.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying and again, it gets back to exposure. As long as Diddy had a party,
I'm not against the parties being at his home. I mean, we all have barbecues and get-togethers, and we don't always have it at the park. We have it at our house.
My pastor is not invited.
Don't know that.
He ain't invited to mine. I do know that.
Oh, you don't invite him to yours,
right? No, he ain't coming.
And that's a tough situation, because and me and Keon would argue about this all the time. I think
he
you
didn't
have
believe
3 lives.
Christian anyway. So
Right. We have 3 lives. You have your public life, you have your private life, and you have your secret life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it was like all those years I smoked, people said, I didn't know you smoked. It was a private behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Look at Barack Obama.
Yeah, same thing. Private behavior.
Yeah.
Now your secret behavior, that is something, and maybe some of y'all out there never had secret behaviors, but for some of us who did, you understand, that's real. So when it's exposed, that, and then we all can make comments, we all can make judgments. But let me say this, for many of us, thank God for grace, that again, our secret behavior was not exposed publicly. Right?
I got this question. Is the criticism more deep the older you get?
Yeah, because you should be
you're supposed to know that,
and that's my point.
To get away from
he how old is he? He's 60, maybe 70 years old.
Who?
T.D. Jakes.
He's 66.
Yeah, he's
Come on now. Now
he looks older than me.
And then we keep talking about perfection and all this. I'm assuming we're all Christians. We know that, like, that
3 of you are.
Yeah.
Three of you.
All right. We know even
2.5.
But even if you're not a Christian, you know that, like, nobody is perfect, right?
Exactly.
We know that.
But when we do offer criticism, we offer it in knowing that there should have been something you have learned. And as the older you get, it's certain mistakes that you just shouldn't be making, certain decisions that you just shouldn't be doing.
You ever hear that saying? And I don't know, maybe you had to use it yourself a time or two. Should have followed my first mind.
Yeah.
You don't think your first mind told you ain't got no business at this party?
Right.
If it wasn't Jesus, your first mind should have told you, man.
But like, as you get older, you have to start paying attention to that first mind, because maybe you have gotten into a few situations before you got 66.
But it also depends on your situation. You would think that as we get older, we don't, but everybody's susceptible to fall. Right. Everybody. Yeah, and so
everybody has sin.
And then you said, what was you thinking about? I wasn't. Now I am.
You were thinking about something. That's why you went.
Yeah, but I was thinking about the wrong thing.
Mhm.
And then there's a scripture that we say, and that has been misused. It says that God will not put more on you than you can bear. And we always talk about the circumstance of life. It's not what he's talking about. Keep reading. He says, because he will talk about temptation, right? And he will allow you an avenue of escape. What does that mean? Your first mind said you ain't got no business going on over there.
Mhm.
There's your avenue of escape. Now you dismiss that.
Mhm.
I'm going. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Good morning. You on there?
But you also say I hate the things that I do, and I don't know why I do the things that I don't hate. So it's very confusing. Keith, I agree with you, and I agree with Al, which I can't believe he was taken up for a minister. We are susceptible to fall. Solomon, supposed to be the wisest and smartest man in the world, correct? And he fell. So we do have
His
to
daddy
be careful.
failed multiple times.
Keith, one of the things in being in clergy or just being in period, as like DJ said, as we get older, one of the things that I always pray is keep me humble, because we can get the big head really fast. And once you start getting that big head, it's over, because we forget to keep putting God first. We in trouble, because people will come up to you, oh, you gave a book, this was good, that blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden you start thinking it's me, and you can get in trouble. Now, none of this stuff is new. We all got a past. We all got a past. And like I said, some of us, we better hope it never come out, because we all got a past. I don't know about DJ. He's pretty young. I can't speak for Debo either, because Debo sounds like he walked that straight and narrow path. But we got to be careful about the things that we do. One of the things that 50 said he never went to none of them parties, because he already knew what was going on. So the rumors was out there. It wasn't anything that was a secret.
Mm-hmm.
The parties Cat Williams was kind of alluding to.
I think so.
Probably.
I think he was talking about that.
But
Shannon
Diddy wasn't
Sharp
the
too.
only one that throwing them type of parties though.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I'm not giving any of those guys excuses. The dude who ran Playboy, what was his name?
Hugh Hefner.
Yeah.
He's doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing. Me and Brenda watched this. What was it, babe? About an 8-week documentary on him.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about the stuff that Diddy doing pales in comparison to the stuff he was doing. But they waited till he died before they started coming out with this stuff.
Right.
Because he had stuff on so many people. Because you talking about the camera set up in rooms and all that. He was trafficking cocaine, all kind of stuff. If you believe the documentary, what the people were saying. But I'm not taking up for P, but it's just like it's a difference when we do things and when they do things.
Well, can I put this word out here and tell me, should we be careful not to pass judgment?
We should. All of us should be. I'm not passing judgment. I hope I'm not. It's just that we got to be so careful in the walk that we do in this world. All of us, because temptation is always knocking at our door. I don't care who you are. Temptation is always knocking. Now, I'm gonna throw Debo. I'm gonna put some pressure on Debo right now, because Debo, you being in the music industry, and I've been in the music industry, and I see and I know what can happen with these females. You don't tell me ain't no females. Does your wife follow you around?
She used to.
She trusts you, right?
Yeah.
But you can't tell me ain't no females be coming up to you. You don't tell me you ain't got no groupies.
Yeah, I was sitting over in the Love Peace and Soul groupie area.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of Love Peace and Soul
But where are you
groupies.
going with this, George?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's like Al said. We all human beings, and we got to be careful, because temptation is always. What did the devil say? I'm roaming. I'm roaming. Ain't that what he told God?
Yeah.
I'm roaming.
Now I'm
Just because you criticize somebody don't mean that you passing judgment.
You are. I am. I can't speak for you, but I am.
If something is wrong, it's wrong.
It's wrong, but it's the tone of how we say it is wrong. And
What
I think
is that?
So running past a stoplight or
Keith?
running past a stop sign, and I say you should not be doing that. You ain't got no business doing it. That's something that is wrong, and you're saying, hey, you shouldn't be doing that.
Okay.
So should I not comment? So
let's
basically, we
separate-
should never comment on something.
Can we separate then his Diddy's legal troubles, right? And then let's talk about the actual party. I can be honest with you, I could care less about what's actually going on with the party. What is more troubling is the abuse that is a result of the party. That concerns me. And look, a lot of those people freely signed up for what they were doing, right? I mean, I
Say
think
this,
that,
I'm gonna get off the phone.
Huh?
Bishop McCullen, when I used to, me and Brenda used to go to Bishop McCullen's church. And he said in front of the whole congregation, he held up the Bible. And that was one of the things that impressed me the most with this man, because we do, I think Keith might have said it, we do get adorned with our pastors.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us do put our pastors and ministers on a pedestal. And he said, never do that. He said, I'm a man just like everybody else. I can fall at any time. You put your trust in this. And he held up the Bible. And that impressed me with him, because we do, I've been to churches where I've seen people give love offerings and gift offerings just, in the middle of a sermon and just go and lay money on the altar. I had never seen that before. That blew my mind. So it depends on where you go. It's different churches I've been to. I was going to my daughter's church before she got married to go visit her sometime. They be doing track meets up in there. I ain't never seen that in my life. Somebody running through the church. I've never seen that. So and I don't know where I'm going with that by saying that, but we do have to be careful who we lead and who leads us and who we follow.
well, I can give you
seeing
that the esteemed bishop pointed to the Bible. So let's just point to the Bible. On Monday,
I'm gonna hang up so somebody else can get in. Thanks,
all right.
guys.
On Monday,
Have a good
Jesus was on a pedestal. On Monday. Thursday, he didn't call the case. Friday, he's dead. He's on the cross.
Are we going to give context to that?
What I'm saying is that people have you on a pedestal, but those same people will put you on a cross 4 days later.
Right.
So the idea, and George makes a great point, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. It was funny. I was driving, and I said, you know what? And this is kind of full disclosure here. I still experience a certain level of insecurities when it comes to, and I put in quotations, my gifts, right? I have never got to the point that I felt like I was even good enough, right? And like George said, people come up and tell you, oh man, that was fantastic. Oh man, da 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 da. And you can, and especially where you are in terms of your emotional and psychological neediness, I wish that it was true that everyone who's called the clergy are called for divine reasons. I wish that was true with everybody, but like anything, there is no everybody.
But when you talk
and
about
so when people are coming, they're still coming with their humanity. They're still coming with the issues that they struggle with, right? And so how do you get through that? How do I work through that where not only do I manage my issues, I properly deal with my issues? And I think that sometimes religion becomes this bomb, right? That, I can just kind of go. Maybe if I can go to church and I could shout it out, right? Or I can go and I can, it's.
But when you talk about pedestal, it's people that put others on a pedestal. When they are removed off of that pedestal, it's usually due to some actions. Now, those actions are agreeable or disagreeable to whoever is applicable to whatever has happened. When you talk about Jesus, they was just jealous of Jesus, and they wasn't rocking with him making these miracles and him being the talk of the town and things of that nature. When you talk about TD Jakes, he put himself in that position.
Jesus put himself in the position he was in. He wasn't a victim.
Yes, he was.
No, he was not.
Yes,
he was a volunteer because he had a choice. He could have went a different direction. He could have started preaching about other things and not talking about human justice. He could have done that. He chose. Martin King, when Martin King found himself in opposition to the war, he could have not done that. You know, so I'm just saying, you make that choice. You know, that you will, that, you know, and I agree with you. There was the political piece going on with Jesus. Obviously, the Roman Empire and the Jewish establishment thought that he was a threat. So he had to be eliminated. But there were people out there. He had a following. That's what triggered it. This is what Nicodemus was going. These people are following you. Are you the one that the scriptures, are you the Messiah? And Jesus go, no. And he started talking about other things. I am not the military leader you're looking for. I am not the political leader you are looking for. That's not what I'm here for. But at the same time, the perception was that he was. And so what was Jesus charged with? He was charged with sedition. He threatened the Roman Empire. The military political piece of it is important. We so mystify, oh, he went to the cross to save people from their sins. He went to the cross because he had, no pun intended, crossed people who thought he needed to be eliminated. But you remember the message, right? Unintended consequences. So you thought you had eliminated a threat, which you did to Rome.
Right.
But then what you also created was a religion that 2,000 years later has over 1 billion followers. That's the byproduct of the crucifixion. But I think we do, you know, oh, you so idolize. People say, here's the problem. Your heroes are human. So when you see me, oh, Keith, oh, he's just more, until you see me privately. And then you're exposed to my humanity. And that humanity could be really good. That humanity could be really bad.
Keith,
but it's my humanity.
Keith, watch this. Lady walks up to me. She says, so you Debo, huh? I said, yeah. I said, you sound disappointed. She said, well, I thought you was 6 feet tall, dark, long, you know, afro, and wore a suit every day.
You sound like that?
That's in her mind. In her mind. So I said that to kind of speak to what you're talking about. People can perceive you to be whatever, right? But when they see you,
right,
all bets are off now, and it's out the window. Now they really see who you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, the irony, I went over before I was still in Metropolitan. I went over to Zion Hill for something with the youth, and I was with my mom at WGOB, and so you know, people, they would listen, and so guy come up, he said, "Oh, you Keith Parris?" I go, "Yeah." He said, "Man, I thought you were about 6'8". Oh, well, I'm still a pretty big boy. I mean, it ain't like, you know, I'm 5'2". I ain't Gary Coleman. But yeah, people now, a lot of the illusion is gone because of YouTube and Facebook, and now you get a chance to see what I look like. And
at that point, they know I'm real, but I'm a figment of their imagination.
Exactly.
I can look like
we create the illusion.
Exactly.
Create the illusion.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Yeah, they say the freaks come out at night.
The preachers come out at night.
Hey, you funny.
The preachers come out at night.
In the midnight hour.
At night.
Hey, TJ Jakes was hanging out with Puff Daddy. They were smiling too much. When you take pictures and you smile like that, something else is happening.
They were showing all their teeth.
Yeah, you know.
Sound like they was having a good time, whatever was going on.
Oh yeah,
with all that baby oil and lube, sound like they was putting work in.
But, you know
glad to be in the number.
Man,
that's all I can say.
You know they up to something when you can't pay $50 million in bail.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you can't pay $50 million.
He couldn't pay it.
No,
they
denied
wouldn't let
it.
him pay it.
Yeah,
They didn't let him. They didn't let him pay it. Say, no, we don't want your $50 million. We want you.
That is crazy.
Right, because if it was Debo or if it was DJ, they probably wouldn't let us post bail. I mean, you know, you sitting.
$5,000.
Yeah, you sitting, man. It was, they didn't let OJ. Well, that was a capital. That was capital.
Yeah,
so they didn't let him.
He would have been.
They were talking yesterday.
Debo would have been a signature.
They didn't let Epstein post bail either.
Yeah, well, they know he had an island.
Oh yeah, he could get away.
And that's what they were saying about Puffy, that he had too many resources and assets to where an alliance is where he could have got gone if he wanted to.
But it was easy for him to kill himself in a place where they were supposed to be watching over him.
Right.
Yeah. So that makes you wonder too.
Yeah, and that whole Jeffrey Epstein piece is conspiracy people all jumped on that one.
Of course.
You know, that, you know, how did he mysteriously, it was, and let me do a local thing, just do a little bit of history that I always thought was strange. Eric Adway.
Eric Adway, yeah.
Eric Adway. I mean, that he hung himself in the cell. There was a lot of us when that happened was kind of going like, I don't know. But he could, I mean, and sometimes life is just what it is. I know it got to be more than that. Nope. What you seeing is what it is.
But the thing about it is,
But the how.
why was he really in? Because he got some film on other people, and they wanted that film.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going through it before it comes all the way out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed that in the indictment, they said they have 50 witnesses. So there's people who gonna turn on him. I mean, you know, your loyalty only goes so far. And then people gonna go like, dude, I'm looking at this kind of time.
I
Maybe
always
that's
hear
where that $50 million
racketeering.
should went.
What is racketeering? I hear racketeering with drug charges. I
It's
mean,
RICO.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what RICO stands for, but it's racketeering. Rackets used to be what they called crime back in the day.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
with
like
the mafia.
mob
Yeah.
ties, that kind of stuff.
And they did it to go
And-
after the mafia.
And it has been alleged, I don't know, but it has been alleged that even some murders have been tied to this whole piece. With,
Oh, he blew up.
Yeah, it's called
Kid Cudi
Biggie
car.
and Tupac.
I'm just saying.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so this is deeper.
When that came out, where he obviously we all seen the video of him putting pause on Cassie doing what he did.
Mhm.
They said that within her lawsuit, she described Diddy blowing up Kid Cudi's car because he was jealous of, you know, an interaction that them two had. And then Kid Cudi verified, like, yeah, my car was blown up. That's crazy. Like you said, mafia type stuff. That's crazy.
And you got to think about it too. No, when you put forth an effort to make sure everybody under you stay under you, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I pay him for. Like I said, look, if I'm a major player, I hire Carvey to carry my drugs.
Carvey P.
Carvey P.
Oh,
Hey, so
Carvey,
you know when you
Carvey,
walk
you
out
got
there,
the
they're
weed?
outside Carvey's
I gotta
car
keep
right
we
now
straight.
looking
All right,
at
let's roll. You know, it was
Hey,
like,
you'll never catch me with it on me.
oh, me, that's what I pay you for. You staying in the hotel suites, you living large, flying, jet flying, limousine riding.
mm-hmm.
Your whole job is to take care of my drugs. That's your job.
Keep me clean.
Keep me clean. Because if I stay out, look, I'll get you a lawyer. I'll bail you out.
Hey, if I'm eating, we eating.
We eating, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if I stop eating?
Hey, that's like what Martin said.
You ain't eating.
When I blow up, boom,
Everybody blow up.
you blow up.
But I'm like this. You ain't getting off the bus now, buddy. No, that Whitney Houston. How do you Whitney Houston? There's already allegations out there about your drug use. How do you even get caught with drugs? I mean, it's already out there. So I mean, it's Damon Stoudemire. Oh, that's one of the funniest stories ever. So he must have had the goody because they done wrapped it up in aluminum foil and the whole thing. Dog walked through the metal detector. The metal detector goes off. He goes back out. He just put it in the other pocket and walked through. Like, dude, you got the weed on you.
Yeah,
Man.
that's dumb. That's dumb.
Well, just like they tried to hand the drug to your boy when in court. Right in front of the
Yeah, I
judge.
saw that. That was yeah. Wasn't that what was that Young Thug?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, ain't it?
Yeah, that was
I'm just
crazy.
saying, you know, gotta know you ain't rapped a syllable. You ain't told a joke. You ain't played a lick on the guitar. What are you here for? You
My
listen.
assistant. What are my responsibilities? Whatever I tell
Whatever.
you.
Hey, you know somebody carrying that guitar case.
Right.
Right.
You got your armor bearer.
Yeah.
There you go. Great example right there.
Yeah.
Keep people off of me. Keep my stuff.
That's right.
That's why the guitar has a roadie. The bass player has a roadie.
Everybody got a
The
roadie.
drummer has a
They
roadie.
got a roadie.
David Ruffin.
I love, but you know what?
He took his drug man with him.
He was the
Marvin
assistant.
Gaye. Marvin Gaye have a preacher in one room, drug guy in the other room. He going back and forth.
Fighting them demons.
Fighting those, oh man, real talk.
It's like Whitney.
And that's the other thing. You can have all this talent, but it still comes with a price.
Hey, Zebo, and you know that favorite word they all say? No backstage passes.
Right. All right, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
You're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be inside the Protege's perspective.
to Community Voice with your hosts Keith Parris and Devon Jones, DJ the Protege.
All right, welcome back. All right, it's now time for the Protege's perspective.
Life and its circumstances are unpredictable. As you keep on living, different situations arise, and they will feel unfamiliar, unsettling, and even unfair. Preparation prevents piss poor performance. That's an age-old saying that has been repeated throughout many lectures, whether it's to inspire or scold. This is an age-old saying that was often told. The emphasis is on how you need to prepare in order to achieve the desired result. When there is a goal in mind, there are necessary steps that need to be taken in order to arrive at the preferred destination. A goal and understanding is in place, therefore it should be easier to iron out a process for achievement. But how do you prepare for things that you aren't prepared for? Everyone knows the saying, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. But how do you stay ready for something that's not in your realm of thinking until it happens? There are many sayings, many phrases, many phases. But when we're faced with the unpredictable circumstance for the first time, how can you prepare for that? Usually, when you prepare, it's for something that has an anticipation of what could be. Yet, if there is no anticipation of what's to come, then you're left scrambling trying to pick up the pieces. There's no way you can be prepared for everything, and some things do slip between the cracks. Expect the unexpected. That's another cute saying, but if it's expected, then it's not unexpected, thus giving you an opportunity to prepare. But when the unexpected happens, alleviating the opportunity to prepare, you'll be left wondering how to pick up the pieces, because eventually there has to be movement from there.
Appreciate that, man. Because if you stay ready,
You ain't got to get ready, but
right, and preparation, man, is so important. I think sometimes, and this was one of the things.
You got a blooper reel that just happened. No. Hey. You know, up on
All right, man. Thank you for the musical break.
up on Price is Right. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom.
And speaking of, as we were looking here on our monitors, we see that on The View right now, they're talking about Mark Robinson. Mark Robinson is currently, the lieutenant governor, state of North Carolina. He's running for governor.
Oh, that's what Michelle was talking about.
Right. And
He be saying some crazy stuff, man.
yeah, allegedly, they said 2008, he had gone on a porn site forum and put in that he was a black Nazi, that
They traced him back to that?
Yeah, they had the email and everything. And he said he didn't do it. He said that somebody went back 2008, put it in there for him. And then it was funny because I was just looking at one of the messages he had on there. It was on a Sunday. And so at this point, he is these allegations have come out in terms of what it was. And I guess they're pointing out his hypocrisy, not that he was in the forum, the chat room. It's his hypocrisies come out against transgenders. I'm sure he was a supporter of the notorious bathroom laws they had in North Carolina.
That was one of the reasons why the NBA moved the All-Star game.
Right. And so this dude, I think, has been on the wrong side of a whole lot of issues. I think the other piece of it is, and man, oh man, this is why we need to teach Black history in all schools. Donald Trump gets up and then says that this guy is like Martin Luther King on steroids. This dude ain't nowhere near nor close neighborhood, anything close to Martin Luther King.
Come on now.
So no, man. But so the question they're asking is, what impact will it have on the race? Will it depress the number of people coming out? Will it motivate people to show up to vote? Right now, North Carolina is even. And I think Trump won it by 1 point in 2020.
Here's the thing, and I think a lot of people ignore this factor. A candidate who is of the same political party can have one candidate win and another candidate lose, which means they potentially could still vote for Trump, but not vote for him. That happened here,
right,
in Wisconsin. What was it? Senator Johnson won, but Trump lost. You know what I'm saying? Wisconsin, and so that can very well happen in a number of states just because of the following. And so it doesn't always go, well, if this Democratic person or if this Republican person wins, then the other one will win too. That's not necessarily the case.
Well, I think and the impact it would have if there are any undecided voters in North Carolina. I know ballots are being mailed now in Wisconsin.
I would be surprised if Eric Hovde has a really good showing.
Right now, though, he's closed the margins. I think she's up by 3 points, and that's going on the poll averages. Turnout is going to be key. Turnout is going to be key for both sides. Those white male voters who may or may not vote, if they decide to show up and vote, that's going to have impact. But also, what is the turnout going to be, particularly in Milwaukee County? And if the primary is in any indication of where voters are in terms of their engagement, that means that we could be looking at a pretty good turnout in November. And I think the other thing is how many people are going to do absentee ballots. I know I am. And hopefully we'll have the information when in-person early voting starts. But ballots are going out right now.
I thought it was October 23rd.
Just a week.
I thought that's what I saw on the cast from one of our local news stations.
So anyway,
but nothing can affect 45 or 45. Nothing can affect dude, because he didn't said some of the most egregious stuff, and by his words, he has done some of the most egregious stuff, and he's still the leader of the pack. And so nobody else is going to affect him negatively, because he can't even affect himself negatively. What's going to happen is, like you talked about, voter turnout, and realistically, the people who are latching on to the former president, are they just as likable as the former president? If not, then he's going to get his votes, and then those other people are just going to get thrown by the wayside.
414-444-5250, 414-5250. Like I said, I just went into my vote to check.
You forgot 3 4s.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Okay. 444-5250, 444-5250. That better?
There we go.
Thank you very much. Okay. 414.
Oh, we got that
5253.
Yeah. I thought that was done.
Let's see.
Caller, thank you for your patience. You're on air. Good morning.
Good morning. I had to call back because I was talking about the idiot of the world. It's crazy to think that people our color are talking about voting for this man. And some say, well, what has the Democrats done for us? Well, look at your cousin that's on SSI. You want him to still get his check? You know, people don't realize it hurts your family members too, just like it hurts you to think that you are in the 1% that's going to be happy with Donald Trump being in office.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people just don't understand, policy and the ideologies that come from specific things. Because to your point, with that SSI check, people will talk down on socialism, but that's a socialistic acumen. Even when we use our roads and public libraries and public parks, all of those things, and we could go on for on, public schools, people will down socialism, but we take part in socialism every single day. So
but it's scary to think that you have people that's come from places like Mississippi say that, but then you think about it, you've been brainwashed when you was a little kid because you come from Mississippi and you come to the city and now you think you know everything.
Can I ask a question? And I know George, as I see George, I'm gonna ask you this question. Why are we caring about the people who vote for Trump? Why is that such a concern of ours? Shouldn't we be concerned about, if you're supporting Kamala Harris, making sure that people will get out and support her? I mean, I don't understand them. Why do you need to understand people who vote for Trump?
Well, I don't understand them.
Okay.
Because you what you fail to realize is I ain't trying to really understand them. I'm just trying to make you seem like, why? I mean, it's the same one that used to go out and they say used to be the one that'll tell Master that Jimmy is about to try to escape tonight. That's all I see.
Okay, but again, and I don't know, that 20% that they said is looking at supporting Trump,
I think that's kind of high.
It's really high.
Yeah.
I think, and then part of that 20% they talking to, those Negroes might not even show up to vote. So, I mean, if you're talking about the demographic of black men who might support Donald Trump, some of these dudes are low information voters already, and their reliability is rather suspect. Not to say that I'm ignoring it. I'm just saying we shouldn't give it more air or light than it should have. The focus, if the people are supporting Kamala Harris, is getting more people out to support Kamala Harris. If those Negroes want to go and support Donald Trump, there's nothing you can say or do that's going to make them not support Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I mean, that's I guess because some of them have some.
Right. And real talk, some of them might feel the same way about people who support Kamala Harris.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Because they think, well, what she had done, she locked black people up. Well, they should be locked up if they out here doing criminal stuff. Lock them up. We don't need them out here with us anyway. I don't like waking up in the morning and having to walk to my car with my pistol in my hand. That's getting irritated.
Yep.
And hey, I don't know what people thinking that Donald Trump ain't did nothing when he was in office. Okay. If you think you had it better when Donald Trump was in office, like I told him, when we was younger, potato chips used to be a nickel. Well, now they $2 for $1, the same bag. So what is you saying? The price of living gonna go up. Everything goes up. It went up for years. Well, I remember my uncle and them used to say they paid $3,000 for cars when they was young in the 70s, and now look at the prices of it.
Yeah, but then also salaries are not what they are today.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
But that I mean, So what? Because the cost of living is high. So
cost of living has always been high.
But I'm saying it's not equaling out.
Right. All right. Appreciate you, man. Hit next.
Caller, thank you for your patience. You're on air.
I had to double dip again too. Look, first, I'm gonna answer that question because they dangerous, Keith.
How are they dangerous, George? What's the danger?
Listen to it, because Donald Trump is dangerous. So if you following somebody that's dangerous, evidently you must believe in what they're saying, correct?
You could.
Okay, so everybody that followed Hitler, They was dangerous, right? Because you believe that garbage. And over 6 million people died, correct?
Correct.
By listening to that nonsense. And I think we underestimated that man once before. We can't afford to underestimate. Oh, he's an idiot. He might be an idiot. But we cannot afford to underestimate him. Somebody was listening, and I'm not going to say no names because I don't want to put them on the spot. But what's the big rapper's name? I think his name might be Money Mike. Is that his name? The dude that just kind of won the awards that got arrested or something because at an award show. Is his name Money Mike?
Could have been. Okay.
Oh no, you talking about Killer Mike?
Killer Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. You know he's down with him, right?
Okay.
So Keith, he has a big influence.
Okay.
And you and DJ kind of got on me last week, and and you pulled it up yourself. Okay, under 50 was what, Keith? What, 26%?
Right.
That we know of. Because everybody ain't going to tell you what they're doing.
Okay.
What I'm saying is we cannot underestimate this dude. Because if we underestimate him, like we did, what was that? Was it 2016? We might get this dude back in office. Going to do what he says he's going to do, and he get the people like this dude, this Mark dude. That's what I really call for. Right before you talked about it, I was about to call and say that. Now look at the stuff that they uncovered about his past. We're going to see how fast dude run from him because they already talking about they want him to drop out. But
well, he can't.
Going to do it.
If he didn't do it yesterday, he's on the ballot now. His
Correct.
deadline was yesterday.
So we waiting to see. Like he said, oh, I don't know the dude. But this, all I call to say is Keith. And I think sometimes I know you like to play that middle of the road stuff sometimes, you know. And I know some people take up for you, and your views are your views, Keith. Your views are your views, and that's your right, just like my views are my views, and that's my right. But we got to stop. What did they say? We got to stop giving this dude a pass. He's dangerous, Keith.
Who's giving him a pass? The question I asked George is, why is the emphasis? You know, it's a pitch battle. We're focusing in on, well, I can't see why such and such is voting for. Well, such and such can't see why you voting for such and such. So the emphasis should be
and I've always agreed with you about that.
Right. So
I don't understand it, but for you to say how is he dangerous, you don't think he's
dangerous? No. I wasn't saying he was dangerous. I was saying the people that support him
are dangerous too.
That's your perception.
You don't think so, Keith?
I don't.
And I just gave you an example of that. So
I look at them. I look at the people who support Donald Trump as political opposition. They're opposed to where I might be.
That stormed the Capitol. You didn't think they were dangerous, Keith?
But that's not everybody that voted for Donald Trump. Can we be fair?
What do you think the majority of it is?
That was 30,000 people.
Like a whole bunch of people out there that day to me.
It was about 30,000 people. I got that. But what I'm saying is that if it's the same thing. If I'm on another talk show that's conservative, probably talking to white conservatives, they're doing the same kind of descriptives for people who support Kamala Harris, right?
Have we shown that behavior?
No, they would go like, I don't know. Well, you know what they equivocate, and I'm not saying that it is. They equivocate the George Floyd protest as the same thing as people were doing on January 6th. That's how they equate it. But those seem to be very emotional responses to things that are happening. Of course, what they did on January 6th was wrong. But I don't know if it would be fair to say that everybody who supported Donald Trump subscribed to what they did.
Why would you follow him then? That's what I'm saying, Keith. Because you bring up a question, and I meant to hit you up on this the other day. You say you bring up the thing about Saturday Night Live jokes about they have Reverend Al and all them on. So is there anything that he can do that we wouldn't support him? And I know it was a joke, but I'm going to honestly say this about myself. I can't speak for you. I can't speak for Debo. I can't speak for DJ. I only can speak for myself. If Barack Obama was doing the same crap that Donald Trump is doing, there's no way in hell that I would be supporting him.
What if he's running against Donald Trump?
I might have to sit it out, Keith.
Okay.
Oh, you can't do that because y'all tried to hop on me for not voting. Well, I vote,
He
but
said-
for leaving that portion blank.
But he's saying that if Barack Obama was doing the same thing, I mean, what are we saying? Two idiots, two dangerous people. I'm just going to have to put my trust in the Lord. I couldn't do it.
Oh, now we put trust in the Lord, but I remember a few years ago, y'all was saying how dumb I was and how our ancestors died,
dumb.
how our ancestors died for the right to vote.
Well, I wore them out.
But now
DJ,
it's now.
Keith is saying, but Keith, with DJ, Keith is saying, I'm saying two equally dangerous. He said, what if Barack Obama was just like Donald Trump? We ain't say Hillary like Donald Trump. So when you wasn't gonna vote when you were sitting out, who was running against Donald Trump?
Hillary.
Okay.
And Biden.
Okay. And so you don't think there's a big contrast between them two people?
Yeah, but what I guess the point I'm making is, and that was the joke that they were making, the people that we really like, we will give passes. So let's not even say that Barack Obama was as bad as Donald Trump. Let's say we find out that Barack Obama had a girlfriend. Would that be a disqualifier?
He had a side piece.
Yeah. Would that be a disqualifier for
me for a side piece?
Yeah.
And that's it?
Is that it?
Oh, we talking about?
I think Michelle is not going to think.
Donald Trump done did how many side pieces Donald Trump and all the lines and stuff he has.
So Barack Obama,
but you weren't gonna vote for Trump anyway, though.
In that case, Keith, I think I will vote for Barack Obama.
There you go. Because
if that's it, a side piece, and Michelle forgive him, yeah, I could get down with that.
But you wasn't gonna vote for the other side anyway, though. Right. So we can't try to
let's say that Donald Trump just had a side piece DJ, like Barack Obama.
I always said, DJ, if a Republican, if I thought they had good policies, DJ, I will vote for them.
All right.
But no, I'm talking about I'm not talking about the Pacific. I'm not talking about the specific party. I'm talking about. I'm just talking about Trump.
I done called twice, so let me get off.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
My brother be monitoring how many times I called it.
All right, man. So that's interesting. So, but if Barack had a side piece, still vote for him. Still vote for him.
He just said he wasn't going. He was going to leave that blank.
Is that all he did? He just cheated on his wife. I still vote for him.
He wasn't going to vote for Trump anyway. So you're not going.
That's all he did. He did that now. He just cheated on his wife.
He sounded like practice. Is that all we talking about? Practice.
A side piece. That's all we talking about.
Carly, thank you for your patience. You're on there.
Good morning. I appreciate you taking my call. Brother Keith, Brother DJ, Brother Debo. I'm kind of in agreement with George. And I understand what you're saying, Keith, that you have to try and, people have a right to vote for who they want to vote for. But the one reason why I think he's a danger, just it's the things that he says and what he does. But if he does get elected, he's talking about pardoning the people that attacked the Capitol, that injured and police officers died. And there's a police order of police that's supporting him. He's talking about pardoning those individuals that rubbed feces in the Capitol and did, just all of that. But listen, let me just name a few. The birtherism with Barack Obama. If you don't know who the Central Park Five is, look that up. The criticism and the things he said about NFL players, Colin Kaepernick. He told the three black congresswomen to go back to where you came from. His criticism of Latinos, Mexicans are rapists, murderers, and things of that nature. What he just recently said about Haitians, they're eating people's pets. He discriminated against black people for renting in his properties, and not to mention Project 25. And just Google, even Googling his cabinet to see who he had on his cabinet. And what I don't understand is, did Biden have a point? Maybe, and I know he shouldn't have said it, but if you vote for Donald Trump, you ain't black. I know that's a joke, but I'm trying to understand it and grapple with why, if you're a person of color or a black person, because especially if you're black, you're not far from that list as well. So why do you give that man your support? that's the part that I'm just trying to understand. So I don't know if you have a response to that.
I don't think
And
we need to understand why they trying to do. I mean,
Right.
there's because you know, and I said this last week, like we're not all the same, and so yeah, we ascribe to the same ethnicity, and we're Black, African American, however you look at it, but like there's a lot of differences between us all, and
right,
so we're not all going to think one way. We all haven't acted the same way. And so we're not all going to vote the same way. And on top of
but I'm
that, it's not
right.
it like to Keith's point, it's the minority of majority of us anyway. And I mean, even if it is 20%, which I think that's very generous, it's
Mhm.
only 20%, which is so low. And I mean, just to go on another realm, it's just, we talk about the sore thumbs, or the one little bad apple. It shouldn't take over the entire story for the majority of the group. And I think that's what this is with the
Yeah.
minority of Black people pulling their support for Trump.
And let's look at the poll once again, the methodology and the sample group. The sample group were, they talked about Black males under 50. Okay. As we get moved lower in that group, you're talking like 18, 19, 20, 30, 19, 20 year olds. They're probably not going to vote anyway. That's included
Right.
in that group under 50. So they'll say that. I didn't see in the methodology that they use was that these were likely voters or even registered voters. They just kind of went in and said, we'll just survey Black people. Well, you need to be a little bit more specific in what it is that you're looking for and what you're trying to extract, because when you start going
Right.
breaking out those numbers in that demographic, you find that at a certain point, 30 and less, those folks are low voter participation individual. So it wouldn't be surprising. And so then how much credence do I get to who you gonna vote for? Well, Negro, you probably not even gonna show up and vote.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that call your show, Keith. I won't say any names, but you know who they are that support Trump, and I just don't. And they're over. I know they're over 20 years old. At least they sound
but
like it. Yeah.
I'll put it out there. The vast majority, overwhelming majority of Black people, if they show up to vote in this presidential election, is probably going to vote Democratic.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I hear the music. Thank
All
you
right,
so
man,
much,
appreciate
and
you.
you have a good day, a good weekend. Thank
Yep.
you.
Hey, you're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Good morning.
Yes. My question I don't understand is why is it when it comes to our black people, they give Donald Trump so much power? Because I can guarantee if Donald Trump was the same color as us, oh y'all, and we know how we get when we deal with us. Black people have every ounce of power to crush and dominate. And we ain't gonna talk until y'all get that licking to y'all, that black velvet, that Paul Masson, that Coke 45. Let's not talk about the angry Christian and y'all speak y'all truth. But for some reason, when Donald Trump talk, everybody gets so nervous. But then when it comes to our own people, oh, let me tell you something to your face. Let me bring this to your attention. Only thing black people got to do is treat Donald Trump like y'all treat each other. Y'all got all the facts to back up what you say about Donald Trump. But for some reason, everybody get quiet. Let me break it down to y'all. Donald Trump is not God. All right? Now, if y'all treated him like he was black with that Project 2025, y'all be like, come to my house. I got your 2025 waiting at my doorstep, dude. But all of a sudden, when it comes to black folks, oh, he's a dangerous man. But y'all not even that way with each other. So if this gonna work, treat him like he a nigga. Treat him like y'all get when y'all get pissy drunk and y'all want to cuss everybody out and call the next day and don't apologize. And you will get the respect you want. Let's put this car in reverse and hit the reset button. Because y'all giving this man too much power. And just imagine if you treated him just like you treated each other. You might have more people standing against them. Have a good day.
I didn't last night. Rhonda was invited to the Oprah Kamala Harris town hall last night. So she had it up. One of the great lines that came out of last night, and this is why I just think she being Vice President Harris is such a sharp individual. They were talking about guns, and she was saying, look, what we're talking about is, reasonable gun safety legislation. And there's a lot of us who really believe that AR-15s, AK-47s should not be in the hands of civilians, period. I mean, it's a military weapon. It shouldn't be. But then they said, and she pointed out, and I didn't know this until the debate or another speech where she said, well, she owns a gun. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, and it said, somebody breaking my house. She said, yeah, they're going to get shot. I thought, okay, real answer. Because that's been the argument that NRA has made for people being able to have all the weapons. What happens in case of a home invasion?
But let's not even go to a home invasion, right? Let's just stick on Donald Trump. The most recent, I don't consider that an assassination attempt. Wasn't no bullet shot or nothing like that. But
he was a better shot than the last dude. I bet you if he got a shot off.
But the guns that were involved are the very guns that people have been talking about. And so you don't hear them talking about, oh, this is a travesty. We need to get rid of these guns. But it was a real assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. And then there was an individual who maybe he or wanted to assassinate former president like a week or two, like last week. You don't hear them saying, oh, these guns.
It's never guns. It's mental illness. It's the individual.
So then you can't bring up those assassinations then.
And look,
or attempts, not assassinations, they're attempts. You can't play both sides is what I'm saying. You can't play both sides.
We're talking politics,
right?
So people do play all sides,
and I'm just bringing it to light.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank God for giving us this moment. Clear. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Thank you, DJ, for pointing that out. I think people might have missed that.
Good morning. You're on there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, speaker. If I may, I'll try to offer a little opinion about why folks feeling like they need to understand Trump supporters.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do it through a little rough analogy.
No profanity, please.
No profanity. And Mr. Parris, I'm gonna use you for your opinion.
Oh, wait a minute. And you can't use me. No, go on, man.
Okay. Well, you was in trouble earlier this week. I ain't gonna get you in trouble.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Okay, so this is a true feeling. Every person that has lived it all has felt this feeling. They don't have to tell anybody about it, but they know in their heart that this feeling is true and that what they felt is true. Okay, here it is. Mr. Parris, you ever walk in a room and as soon as you open the door or you make your appearance in the room, the conversation stops. Maybe one or two people even glance at you. What do you feel? What do you know is the truth right there?
Okay, now first of all, I don't like you talk about what happens when I go to my family gatherings. I don't know how you know about what's happening when I get to the family gatherings. When they just leave me alone to death. Now I understand that. I appreciate that.
Right. Everybody knows that feeling.
Yeah.
You can't prove it no kind of way, but you know they were talking about you.
Right.
So that feeling, we all know that feeling. We can't prove it. We can't even understand it, but we know it's true. Okay, this is how it ties into how people feel about folks who supporting Trump. You wondering about them, they wondering the same damn thing about you.
That's right. Real talk.
That's it. That's
Real
it.
Talk.
Yep. Yep. I appreciate y'all program. Have a happy Friday.
Hey, thank you, bro. Hit next. There you go. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning. You're on air.
Shalom, family.
What's happening, man?
Let me turn this radio down.
Yeah, I hear Keith.
I would hate to hear that voice in the background there. Turn that down.
This is a disturbing topic for many reasons. To hear the statistic that 26% of Black men between the ages of 25 and 40?
No, 18 to 50.
Okay. Are supporting Trump.
Yeah.
I don't think they have really considered what another Trump term will do potentially to this country, recognizing that it will need to also have with it majority in the Senate, a majority in the House. But if those pieces all fall into place and he's allowed to abolish the Constitution, have you two considered what that'll do to this country?
It's not going to happen, though.
How do you know that?
I know that.
How difficult it is just to be able to do it.
There's there's already rules in place for that to happen. And which
are what?
There has to be an entire conference. And then on top of that, the entire conference has to include the governors. So that's at least 50 governors on top of Congress as well as the president. Okay. And then that means everything is up for discussion, right? It means everything is up for discussion, but everyone is not going to agree on everything. You don't think that they have been talking about the dismantling of the Constitution for the first time? This has been talked about for years, but it's never even come into remotely into fruition because of all of the necessary steps that have to be taken in place.
Right. But we've never had a president who requested immunity and was given it from the Supreme Court either.
Yes, we did. Richard Nixon.
Yeah, I was just about to say
Richard Nixon. It was a different court. Richard
Yeah.
Nixon did the same thing.
Immunity?
Yes. He thought
From the Supreme Court.
and he was pardoned by
and it was
by
President
Gerald Ford.
Yeah, it was the same thing. The power of the presidency. What was it called? Presidential privilege. because he didn't want to turn over the tapes. And the Supreme Court ruled unanimously that, again, it was a different court, that you're not above the law. Now, this particular Supreme Court, which 3 of the appointees or it's appointed under Trump, makes this majority.
Was Nixon granted the same immunity that Trump has been granted?
No, Nixon didn't, but it was a very different court that Nixon took that to.
And they put what he asked them for in place. That's my point.
What do you mean?
If he comes into office again, he already knows that the Supreme Court has granted him this immunity that he wants.
And Kamala Harris will enjoy that same immunity.
Well, if it exists for Trump when he comes, then Biden enjoys it now. But they are not thinking to take advantage of it.
That's exactly.
We're dealing with a totally different person. This is the piece I think.
No, what you're talking about is that whole.
Minimizing.
No, I'm not minimizing. I'm just trying to keep it in perspective. This wasn't a carve out for Donald Trump. This gave the presidency, and maybe people always thought, because what was it that they were trying to create under Nixon, the imperial presidency?
Mm-hmm.
This is a conservative group of people who kind of believe, okay, we're going to get a guy to power, but the guy could be a gal in 2025. I mean, and you're right, it always comes down. I mean, you could have a president who decides, I'm going to declare martial law. The question is, will the military leadership be down with him in order for them to say we're going to put troops on the streets in spite of the Posse Comitatus piece that says you can't put U.S. troops on American streets? I mean, DJ's right. And I know he would talk about that, but at some point, I have to believe that people want to see these guardrails in place.
And then you also have to take into account. Let's just say that there are no laws for let's just say 30 days. Those same people will be very frantic and scared too.
I think we're looking at the purge.
I mean, so it like people make these comments like, oh my God, if this happens, but it's not just to the demise of us, like it's to the demise of everybody,
of the entire country,
right? And so
that's where the problem exists. But I don't think people really are taken seriously. He's already shown, and the question was raised: why would he pardon these insurrectionists?
Because they're his followers.
A demonstration of their followers, right? But see, that's a demonstration of what he will attempt and continue to attempt to do in his effort. As he said, he wants to be a dictator. So the question,
President Bush said that too, though.
Pardon?
President Bush said the same thing too.
There's no president that's going to sit up and say, take away power. The more power you give me as president, I love it. And even Biden's.
Have we ever had a president the likes of this man with the his emotional instability that you can recall in your lifetime?
Richard Nixon?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
When you look at what Richard Nixon actually did, what Donald Trump is talking about.
Yeah.
He did weaponize
he actually went after
the Justice Department to go after people.
He actually went against
he did it because he knew what he was doing.
Still his plan was thwarted by one person, right?
What do you mean?
And the Congress didn't allow for him to do what I'm saying. That if Nixon was intent on doing what Trump is intent on doing, we didn't see the insurrection take place back then. We didn't see these people around. No, we didn't.
But no, what I'm saying is, but the threat that Richard Nixon posed to people that look like you and I, there were many people in Congress. He was never impeached because of how he used the Justice Department and how he used the FBI and COINTELPRO. He was never impeached or had the threat of impeachment for that. His impeachment came down to obstruction of justice as it relates to Watergate, right? And for a while, he still had strong support among Republicans until the tapes came out. And when the tapes came out, it was a game changer. But all the awful stuff that they did to the Black Panther Party, to the Nation of Islam, to Students for Democratic Society, I mean, Richard Nixon weaponized the Justice Department. The very thing that you supposedly, this false allegation that Trump is making about how they're coming after him, and they've weaponized, I think, what do they call it? Lawfare, like it's supposed to be warfare. Richard Nixon actually did it. So, I mean,
he didn't have to. All I'm saying this is that if the pieces are in place, we'll have a totally different outcome, which is the control of the Senate, control of the Congress.
And you could see where it looks like now, if these numbers are holding up based on states like Michigan, where it looks like they're going to elect. No, guys doing well. Michigan. It's Ohio. Sherrod Brown is in trouble. He's down by 6 points, so that's beyond the margin. Also, there will be a Republican senator coming from West Virginia because Joe Manchin is not running. Mm-hmm. So it could be a change. And so the Republicans could have control of the Senate. But here's the byproduct. These down ballots where you continue to have Trump doing Trump in some of these districts where Hakeem Jeffries could be the Speaker of the House. So we'll have split government.
True. I think a vote for Trump is a disservice and disrespect to all the work that our ancestors did.
Okay.
And I'll be out with that.
Peace. Right. Well, because of that, then I won't be voting for him. You're listening to Community Voice. Thanks again. I appreciate it. I was looking for a reason not to. Craig gave me the reason. You're listening to Community Voice. We're up on the last break of the program. Oh, no, we're going to finish? All right. So you want to get another call again? We got time for another one? No? Okay, it's time to go.
It's 10 minutes worth of commercials?
It's time to go.
Hey, okay. I'll do something different around here.
Yeah. Mike policy.
You'll learn that don't apply to me.
Oh, he bigger than all of this. Superstar. Let me thank DJ Debo. Thank you. Carly, thank you. Listeners, callers, we thank you. The good Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.
Milwaukee Film's New Dialogues Documentary Festival, presented by Potawatomi Casino, a celebration of nonfiction filmmaking spanning across 4 days.